What's up, everybody? Welcome to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we're talking about the first Pokemon TCG Pocket set, and that is Genetic Apex. If you don't know, it has 286 cards with 226 being its main set and 60 rares. I saw like a thing that it takes like 2 years to collect every card in this set or something crazy like that. So yeah, just food for thought. But if you don't know, we're going to talk about the set. We're talking about all the cards in it and point out some good ones, point out some bad ones, and that kind of stuff. This cool thing about the Poke Beach, what they've done as well, if you've never seen Poke Beach before, they have made it where they showed which card is exclusive to a specific pack. It's shown in parentheses. So you see how like these are Mewtwo's, these are Pikachu's. So that does make a difference. Whereas in real life Pokemon, it doesn't really matter which kind of variant pack you pick in the front of. They're all the same. But on Pocket, they're different. So that's a big thing to note here. So let's cover, we're going to go down the line. We're going to go down the line, get this ad off my screen. How do I get that away? I have no idea. Can I just do this? Cool. Alright, so there's Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, and there's Venusaur EX. Venusaur EX is probably the worst of the EX's starter Pokemon. 100 heal 30 from his Pokemon. You need 4 energies to it. There's really no way to power up grass Pokemon right now. So this is a very bad EX, unfortunately. There's Caterpie, there's Metapod, and there's Butterfree. Once per turn, you may heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. This is a pretty good combo, especially with a lot of decks that like that are hard to take down. You can just keep it alive forever. So Butterfree is actually a really good card if you can get that turn 3 into play. Then you keep your Pokemon alive, kind of thing. There's Weedle, Kakuna, Beedrill. Beedrill is pretty bad. I mean, 1 energy for 70 is like okay, but as a stage 2, there's better options. So there's Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume. 80, your opponent's active Pokemon's now asleep. If you're going to do this, you'd rather use Wigglytuff if you're going for a sleep effect. And you can combine that with the Butterfree we just saw. And that's kind of a deck that we see sometimes right now. The running around is a Vileplume Butterfree. Not Vileplume Butterfree. Sorry, that would be... I mean, I guess you could play Vileplume Butterfree, but Wigglytuff Butterfree. Parasect. Venomoth. Poison for 30 is not very good. So if you'd rather do that, you play Koga instead, or play Weezing with Kogas and stuff like that. Grass doesn't really have that much support right now outside of just Erica's. So Weeping Bell, Victor Bell. This Pokemon is your act spot. Once your turn, you may switch one of your opponent's bench base Pokemon to their act spot. This could be somewhat good. Problem is, it's a stage 2, right? And your opponent gets to pick, and it's only with their bench basic Pokemon. That's kind of a big deal there. There's Execute, Executor. Stomp just a 60, pretty vanilla. But can I do it like this? Oh, I can do my keyboard. That's sick. Executor is actually pretty good. It does 40. If a point of has does 40 more damage. The big thing here, it needs 1 energy. So that's pretty strong. It's 80 damage for 1. It has 160 HP, so you can use Butterfree plus Erica's and heal it with potions and stuff like that. It's a very tanky kind of deck. So that could be something good that you could play. Tangela, no Tangrowth. We got a Scyther, Pinsir, Cottony, Whimsicott, Petzil, Lilligant. We got Skiddo and Go-Go. So that's it. There's really not too many grass Pokemon. Like I said, the best one probably in the set is a Butterfree just because you can heal. There's a Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. Some people are playing this Charizard. They both do the same thing. Charizard EX does 200 damage, and you discard 2. This one is 150, so you don't do as much damage. But both of them you have to discard 2 energy. The big benefit about Charizard EX, it has a second attack that is 60, so that's where it skyrockets it, right? That's what makes it better. You have an attack that doesn't necessarily you need discard energies. Especially with fire, there's really no way to accelerate energies outside of Moltres, and once you discard, you have to retreat back into Moltres and all the kind of stuff like that. There's Vulpix, there's a Ninetales, and some people do play this card, but I think they play it with Blaine's. I think it's with Ninetales. I could be wrong. I could have the wrong deck in mind. But Growlithe, Arcanine does 20 damage to itself, and Arcanine EX 120. This Pokemon does 20 damage to itself. I mean, if you have it, sure, but if you have the options, you play Charizard instead over this, of course. Ponyta, Rapidash, 1 energy for 40 is good, and then I think with this deck, Rapidash definitely does use Blaine's. I know that for sure. There's a Magmar. 2 energy for 50 is kind of a lot. It's the only problem. There's a Flareon 110. You have to discard energy. But 110 for 3 is not that good. I feel like it's probably not that good, right? Especially, yeah, I think you'd rather just play a different fire attacker. Moltres, and there's Moltres EX, and this is how the fire deck really does work. You have Inferno Dance, flip 3 coins, take an amount of fire energies from your energy zone equal to the number of hands, and attach to your bench fire Pokemon any way you like. So this is how you power up your Charmander and Charmeleons. And Charizard is going to get multiple Pokemon powered up. They take a knock on a Moltres, and it doesn't matter because Charizard just swings, and goes crazy. There's a Heatmore, there's a Salandite, there's a Salazzle, Silicipede, and Centiskorch. I have some people see some people do Moltres Centiskorch because it's a stage 1, and you only discard 1 energy. And once you get 2 heads, you attach. You get Fire Blast every turn because you only discard 1 energy. A lot of Pokemon can't survive 130, just to let you know. But once you get the EXs, that's where you kind of struggle with. Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise. It does 80. I mean, it has 5 energies in total. It does 60 more damage. So it's a really terrible card. But Blastoise does 40, and Hydra Bazooka does 100. If you have at least 2 energies attached to it, you do 160. And that's why I think Blastoise is at least better than Venusaur, because at least you're taking knockouts. Or Venusaur, you're not even taking knockouts. Like, you're not even doing anything. There's a Psyduck and a Golduck. There's a Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath. This Pokemon is your Axe Spot. It's damage from attack. You do 20 damage to attack the Pokemon. You need 3 energies for 80, so that's a lot to set up. I'd rather just play something else that could take a knockout, like the Blastoise or something else. Actually, I would just play the basic. If you're gonna play water, the basic Pokemon are the best, and we'll go over those in a little bit. There's Tentacool, Tentacruel. 50 poison for 2 energies. If you want to play poison, Weezing's the better answer. Dugong for 3, it's a lot. Cloyster 70. You take negative 10 damage, but that's pretty irrelevant. There's a Kingler here. You get to flip 2 coins at both your heads to do 80 more damage. Whoa, bro. Pretty bad. There's a Goldeen Seeking. It's cool because you do 80, but you have to flip a coin, so it's pretty bad. Starmie, and this Starmie does 90 for 2 energies, which is okay. I know a lot of people play this with their decks, and it is what it is. You need another attacker, so it's fine. It's just 2 energies for 90. Seems like a lot. But you do have 130 HP, so take it as what you want. And you have free retreat, which is pretty busted. I think a lot of people don't talk about retreat in this game, and retreat is a golden here. There's a Magikarp, Gyarados, Lapras, there's a Vaporeon, Omnimite, Omnistar. They can't attack next turn, which is pretty cool. Once again, retreating is a big thing here because there's no switch cards, so that's a big thing. Articuno and Articuno EX, and I think this is where I talk about. If you're talking about basic Pokemon, Articuno EX is definitely where it's at. Blizzard for 80, when you combine those with Misty, you get attack turn 1 with it. This is where Articuno and Misty really do shine. It's a broken thing. Ducklet, Swanna, Froakie, Frogadier, and Greninja. I remember at first people were hyping Greninja up, oh, it's so good, you can Greninja, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. And then finally we slowly realized Greninja is actually not that good, unfortunately. Pukimukyu, Bruxish, Snom, and Frostmoth. I think Frostmoth is okay. Auto Sleep is great. You don't have to flip for it, but your opponent gets to flip out of it. Sometimes I think that's probably better than Starmie, but I could be irrelevant. I could be wrong. I just like having a non-EX Pokemon in my deck. Red Cheeks Pikachu, Raichu, and Pikachu EX. Pretty good. You need 2 energies. You can do 90 damage. It's good. It's really good. It's probably the best card in the set. I think I think Pikachu is literally probably the best card in the set. Magnemite, Magneton. I think you attach it to itself, right? But there's ways around it. There's a Magnezone either. It's just a Magneton. Voltorb and Electrode Ball to 70. I think it's okay. I think I'd rather play other attackers in this deck. Electabuzz. There's a Jolteon. Zapdos and Zapdos EX. And this is where the Lightning decks really do shine. Because you have 2 EX Pokemon that are basics that can just swing, which is golden. You have Blitzel and Zebstrika. I love the Zebstrika in this deck. Just being able to snipe for 30 anywhere is great, right? Combined with the Pikachu, you can take some knockouts, stuff like that. So I think that's where the deck really does shine, is the Pikachu Zebstrika. That's what I like. I like that the most. Tynamo with the Electric, and Electros with the Helioptile, Heliolisk, and Pinkaron. On a Psychic, there's Clefairy and there's a Clefable. There's an Abra, Kadabra, Alakazam. It's cool to make a Kadabra and Alakazam. Unfortunately, it's not very good, though. 16 attacks is 30 when each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So, that's pretty irrelevant. They can just control their energies. Slowpoke and Slowbro does 80 for 3. It's a lot. Ghastly Hunter Gengar, but we like this Gengar more. This one has the same effect as this ability. As long as Pokemon's your active spot, your opponent can't use any supporter cards in their hand. If you can get this out really quickly, you can make it where they just have like a Gengar that you just do 100 damage, and they can't use a supporter card. If they don't set up, that's the big thing. If they don't set up, you're in a good spot. If you can like red card them turn 1 and then like try to set this Gengar before they can do anything, you're kind of in a good spot. Even if you're not taking knockouts, that could be a big deal. It could be, right? It could be. But that's the thing. If they get set up, then you're in trouble. Drowsy Hypno. Hypno's cool because you flip a coin, your opponent's active Pokemon's now asleep. Mr. Mime, take less damage. Psychic for Jinx. Mewtwo and Mewtwo EX. Probably one of the other strong cards of this deck. And you combine this with the Gardevoir right here. Once your turn, you may attach a Psychic Energy from your Energy Zone attached to your Psychic Pokemon in the active spot. Now, the big thing about this is, like Magneton, this can go to Mewtwo EX. So that's a big thing there. Side Jab does 150, discard 2 energies to Pokemon, but then you use Gardevoir, you're good to go. Remember, Gardevoir does attach it to the Pokemon in the active spot, right? You may take a Psychic Energy from your Energy Zone, attach it to the Psychic Pokemon in the active spot. So that's a big thing there. But still, you're attacking with Mewtwo, you're discarding 2 energies, you can back out, you're good to go. Woobat, Swoobat, Golett, and Golurk. Sandrew Slant Slash. I think this is a good card just because like lightning is so big right now, so the big thing here. Diglett and Dugtrio. I don't care about the Dugtrio, I don't think. Mankey and the Primeape. Now Primeape's pretty interesting. If this Pokemon has any damage to it, this tag does 60 more damage. Now with this Mankey, it's pretty irrelevant. But there's another Mankey that we're going to talk about next week. That's pretty good. That makes this deck even better. Machop, Machoke, and the Machamp. And there's Machamp, yes, Vanilla 3 for 120. I mean, if you got it, sure, but if you don't worry about it. I would not struggle for it. It's not that good. There's Golem 150. It does 50 damage to itself. Like, this is already stronger than this card, which is crazy. The only problem is you need 4 energies, right? Onyx, Cubone, and everybody's favorite card, Marowak EX. Boomerang, flip 2 coins for each does 80 damage, so you can do 160. This is kind of cool because it does combine as well with Hitmonlee, which I do like a lot. It's kind of like the Pikachu combo we talk about, where you go Marowak into Hitmonlee, but outside of that, like you're flipping coins, not very good, right? Rather than just play Pikachu. The good thing about this is you have a weakness on Pikachu, so take it as what you want. Jab for Vanilla 30, sure. Rhyhorn, Rhydon, Kabutops, Minthew, Minxiao, Clobbopus, and Grapplecock. There's the Aikens, Arbok. We know how much I love this card. Corner for 60, make it your opponent can't retreat. It's really good. There's a Nidoqueen. It does 80. This act does 50 more damage for each of your bench Nidoking. Now, if this was like Nido Pokemon, we are cooking. But 3 energies, you need at least a Nidoking on the bench. Like, that's a lot. Nidoran, Nidorino, Nidoking. 3 90. You poison, you do 100. I think this doesn't even benefit from Koga either, so like I don't know. It doesn't seem very good at all. There's a Muck here, 70. If your opponent's active Pokemon's not poisoned, this act does 50 more damage. This combines with the Wheezing to just 2 over. You poison your active Pokemon with the ability, right? And then Venoshock does a ton of damage. The thing about it is you have to constantly keep retreating the Wheezing via Koga or I don't know, because you have to retreat the Mug into Wheezing and then back into Muck. So that's pretty insane, especially when you have 2 Muck or 2 Kogas. And no switch cards, so it's not very good. Steel is pretty much like not relevant at all because there's nothing good. Like Melmetal, sure, but 4 energies for 120 is so bad. At least with Dragonite, you have a Dragon Pokemon that can at least like do like significant damage. It has 160 HP, which is a lot in this meta, and it needs 4 energies, 2 different energies, but one of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random 4 times. For each Pokemon that was chosen, do 50 damage to it. So each Pokemon on the field is randomly picked, and it does 50 damage to it. You have no control over it, which is the only downfall. If you could stack it, this deck could be broken. Like, it'd be insane, right? You just boom, boom, boom. You just pick your Pokemon. But 160 HP, you're not getting knocked out. Even by Mewtwo, you're not getting one-shot unless they play Giovanni. So that's a big thing here. There's a Pidgeot in this deck, which is pretty neat. Once during your turn, you may switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. Your opponent just choose the new active Pokemon, but being able to have a Sabrina as a supporter card, as a Pokemon, is pretty cool. The only problem is once again, they get to pick. Rattata, Raticate, Spiro, Fearow. These are all just kind of meh cards. Wigglytuff EX is probably the next cool card to talk about. It does 80, and your opponent's active Pokemon's now asleep. So they're auto sleep. They have to flip to get out of it. And this is where I was talking about earlier when you play this with Butterfree, and then to constantly keep healing your Wigglytuff. Yeah, you're not taking one-shots, but nothing is really one-shotting you outside of Mewtwo and Charizard EX. So that's a different story, but you could hopefully put them to sleep and, like, flip. The only problem with this deck is you need 3 energies, and there's really no way to power up Colors Pokemon that I'm aware of. There's a Meowth, which a lot of people are hyping up Meowth, 10 to draw a card. Farfetch is also pretty good, too. A Vanilla, 1 energy for 40. Like, it's okay. It's, whatever. It's somewhat good damage for 1 energy, at least. It's a Dodrio, Lickitung. You just flip it till you get tails. Good luck. There's a Chansey, Kangaskhan, Tauros, and a Ditto. Ditto has copy anything. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. If this Pokemon doesn't have the energy use attack, this attack does nothing. So you do need the energies, right? So that's a big thing there. There's 2 different EVs. There's 3 different EVs. I didn't know there's 3 different EVs, but there's 3 different EVs. Oh my goodness. There's a Porygon. You may look at the top card of your deck. Sure. Aerodactyl. You shove a Pokemon to their deck. Sure. Snorlax, Machino, Chichino, Wooloo, and Double. So we only have a Porygon, but no Porygon 2, Porygon Z, unfortunately, right now. So that's all the Pokemon in the deck. All the Pokemon that we have right now. There's Helix Fossil, there's Dome Fossil, and Old Amber to get your Pokemon, your Fossil Pokemon. We have Erica's, which heals 50 from one of your Grass Pokemon, which is okay. Like I said, can combine with Butterfree and like make Venusaur live forever. There's Misty's. Choose one of your Water Pokemon, flip a coin to get Tails. For each has, take a Water from your zone attached to your Pokemon. The busted thing about this card is you can attack turn 1 in the game. You can't attach energy turn 1, but you can use Misty's to get energies out to take an attack. That's pretty cool. Here's Blaine I was talking about. Your Ninetales, Rapidash, and Magmar do 30 more damage. Some of these decks do play it, especially some of the decks do like play Blaine. Like some people do play Blaine's decks just because you need 1 energy and you get a ton of damage, which is pretty neat. Koga to put a Muckaweezen back into your hand. Once again, this is the only switch card we really have. To be honest, it's really all we have. Giovanni during this turn, attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon do 10 more damage to your opponent's active. 10 damage doesn't seem like a lot. I remember I was somewhere and like, it does 10 damage, this card's bad. No, it's actually pretty good. There's a lot of math that like the 10 damage does matter. So that's a big thing there. Brock, take a Fighter G from your energy zone attached to Golem or Onyx. So this is the only way you can get Power Up Golem like really quickly, but outside of that, Brock's pretty bad. Sabrina is probably used in almost every deck. Switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. Your opponent chooses a new active Pokemon. And Lieutenant Surge. Move all lightning energy from your bench Pokemon to your Raichu, Electrode, or Electabuzz in the active spot. And this is where you kind of power up the Raichu out of nowhere, which I don't think we even talked about Raichu at all. Let me go over real quick. And that's all the cards from Genetic Apex. You might be confused, like, oh, what about this card? What about Professor Oaks and stuff like that? Professor Oaks is actually not part of this set. Professor Oak is actually a promo card. But Raichu is right... Come on now. There it is. Raichu is right here. It does 140. You do have to discard all the energy, but that's kind of where Magneton really comes into play, because you use Magneton attach. And if you can do this enough, you can then Lieutenant Surge. So that's where this kind of like combo goes really well. Outside of that, it's really not used for anything else, unfortunately. The only like useful like supporter cards is going to be Sabrina and Giovanni that every deck will use. Everybody else has kind of their niche, right? Like Erica's only used for grass deck, Misty's only used for decks that have water Pokemon, Blaine's only for fire Pokemon, Koga's literally only for Muck and Weezing. So they didn't limit it very, very hard. And outside of that, there's a bunch of like full art character art cards that we could just go. We'll just stroll through them real quick. Make sure I didn't miss any Pokemon. If there's any full art cards that I didn't see, but I mean, like, we can get some like the super duper hyper rares. You see, like, we're even get like the rainbow art cards. Woo, look at there. And then I think that's it. Yeah. And then use the last card, which Mew, it's just highest side report, does 20. Your opponent reveals their hand. They're like a super duper secret rare card, but there's some golden cards, just illustration cards. Looks like there's a couple of these. I don't know which ones are illustrations, which ones aren't. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know that much about these. And yeah, there we go. So that's all the cards in the main set. Like I said, don't be confused if you're like, what about this card, this card, this card? They're not part of the Genetic Apex, right? it is part of something else, right? So either a promo or some kind of giveaway, something like that. So yeah, that's the big thing here. The PokeBeach does a great job of going all the different things that you can get here. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. A lot of stuff covered here in Poke Beach. If I remember, I'll try to click the link down below. But I gotta remember. That's the big thing I gotta remember. But yeah, there's the first set. Everything that's good. Next week we'll cover the next set that happened with the promo sets, and we'll start talking about those cards and go over those, what are good and stuff like that. Just in case you have no idea what's going on in Pocket, which I don't know why you don't know. But there we go. What's your favorite card from Gen Apex? Mine's definitely probably Arbok. I don't know why. The $60 treat is just busted to me. I'm a sucker, I guess. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Have fun watching LEAC. And we'll see you on Monday. Alrighty. Bye.